Have you ever stopped to think about what it really means to open the doors of your home to someone? The moment you invite someone in, you are allowing that person to become part of your most intimate space. It's an action we often take without deeply reflecting on the consequences. After all, who doesn't enjoy hosting guests, sharing moments, or feeling welcomed or welcoming someone? But have you ever wondered how well you really know the person you're inviting inside? There are many people who enter our lives almost imperceptibly, starting as co-workers, friends of friends, acquaintances, or even distant relatives. Sometimes, the facade of friendliness, politeness, or good intentions hides something much deeper and more dangerous. The truth is that not everyone who enters your home has the best intentions. You might be exposing yourself to emotional, spiritual, and even physical risks without even realizing it. That's why it's crucial to stay alert, make conscious choices, and protect yourself. Imagine that person who slowly earns your trust. At first, they seem harmless, even friendly. But over time, you start to notice that something is off. You know, that strange behavior, that feeling of being watched or manipulated. It could be a sign that something more serious is happening. The presence of certain people can completely change the atmosphere of your home. They bring with them energies and intentions that are often invisible to the naked eye. And deep down, you know this. There's that feeling of discomfort telling you something isn't right. The problem is that we often ignore these signs. We give people the benefit of the doubt, believe in the best in others, or simply don't want to accept that someone close to us could do us harm. But that's where the danger lies. The heart, no matter how well-intentioned, can be deceived. Now imagine if you allowed someone with bad intentions to cross the threshold of your home, and little by little, start influencing your life, your thoughts, and even your behavior. Small seeds of doubt, fear, or insecurity can be planted. These people have an almost invisible ability to manipulate, drain your energy, and steal your peace without you realizing it until it's too late. But you don't have to go through that. There are ways to protect yourself, to be selective about who you let in. It's not about isolating yourself or living in constant distrust, but about creating filters, being aware of the intentions and behaviors of those around you. The energy of your home is sacred. It's where you rest, where you seek peace and safety. Allowing someone to destroy that is giving them a power they don't deserve. Have you ever thought about how many times you've let someone into your life and the result was confusion, stress, or even sadness? Maybe, out of fear of being rude or seeming impolite, you lowered your guard and allowed these people to enter and destroy the harmony of your home. And the worst part is that these situations often begin so subtly that you don't even realize what's happening until everything has already changed. Being careful about who you allow into your home is a way to protect not only your physical space, but also your emotional and spiritual well-being. People bring with them their energies, their intentions, and sometimes even their shadows. And it's your responsibility to ensure that these influences are positive, that they add to your life, rather than destroy it. But don't be mistaken. We're not just talking about who enters through your front door. In modern times, where digital life is an extension of our own, you also need to be aware of who you allow into your home through screens. How many times have you let influential people from social media, television, or other digital platforms invade your mind and your space without realizing the impact it would have on your well-being? Now, I want you to think about how you can strengthen this barrier, how you can protect yourself from negative influences and keep your home as a true refuge of peace and tranquility. And most importantly, how you can ensure that from now on, every person who crosses your doorstep is someone who respects you, brings positive energy, and truly wishes you well. And if you're wondering how to start doing that, I'm here to help you reflect. The first step is simple. Look around you. Who are the people who have free access to your life? Do they truly add value? Or are they, in some way, draining your energy and creating problems you didn't even know were coming from them? Recognizing this is the first step toward change. While you reflect on this, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find more content to help you make more conscious choices and protect what is most precious to you. Don't miss the next videos where we'll continue this conversation and dive even deeper into this topic. After all, your home, your life, and your peace deserve to be protected. This is just the beginning of the journey. Over time, you'll learn to recognize signs that previously went unnoticed. You'll feel stronger and more confident in making difficult but necessary decisions. After all, no one but you can protect your home and your life from influences that don't deserve to be there. Keep watching, subscribe, and let's build a safe and harmonious environment for you and your family together. You deserve to live in peace, and that peace begins with the choices you make today. When you open the doors of your home, whether for a brief visit or for someone to stay longer, it goes far beyond a simple gesture of hospitality. Each person who enters brings an influence, an energy that in some way begins to interact with the environment and even with you. And it's not just a physical matter, but also emotional and spiritual. Many times these influences start to manifest in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. But over time, they can create significant impacts on your life. You may have experienced moments when, after hosting someone, you felt an inexplicable discomfort, a sense of fatigue or restlessness. It's possible that this person didn't say anything directly, but their presence, the way they behave, or even the thoughts they carry with them end up affecting your state of mind. And make no mistake, this is more common than you might think. Now imagine this happening repeatedly, day after day. Gradually, the atmosphere of your home, which was once a place of refuge and tranquility, starts to change. What used to bring you peace now generates anxiety. What was once a welcoming home begins to feel heavy and uncomfortable. And all of this may be linked to those people who, without you realizing it, left marks on your space, your life, and your energy. Perhaps you allowed this because you didn't want to be rude, or maybe because you didn't notice the signs from the beginning. Indeed, many of these influences start subtly, but this is precisely why it's so important to pay attention from the very first moment. What may seem like a harmless interaction can actually be the beginning of something that will drain your energy and bring more problems than benefits. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to bring a cloud of negativity wherever they go? It's as if everything around them becomes heavier, darker. And the worst part is that when these people enter your life, it begins to reflect in how you feel, how you act, and even in the decisions you make. What once seemed clear and easy now becomes confusing and difficult. And all of this is because you allowed this person, with their energies and intentions, to enter your space. It's important to recognize that we are not just talking about openly malicious people. Sometimes those who seem to be the most friendly and welcoming are precisely the ones who carry more destructive influences. Negativity, jealousy, envy, manipulation can come disguised as sweet words and friendly gestures. And if you're not careful, these influences might infiltrate your life without you even noticing. Think about the times you felt exhausted after a simple conversation or meeting. Think about the moments you started to doubt yourself or felt that something was wrong without a clear reason. Perhaps you began to question yourself, feeling that your decisions were no longer as firm or that your mood was more volatile. These are clues that something or someone may be negatively influencing you. But the good news is that you can take back control. You can start to observe more closely who is around you, who has free access to your home, and more importantly, to your mind and heart. Because when we talk about who enters your home, we are also talking about who enters your life. And sometimes it is necessary to make difficult but necessary choices to preserve what is most sacred, your peace. Now you may be wondering how you can do this. How can you protect your home, your space, from unwanted influences? The first step is to be aware of who you are, what you value, and above all, what you want for your future. When you have clarity about this, it becomes easier to identify who truly deserves to be by your side, and who, no matter how friendly they seem, does not add to your life. You have the power to decide who enters and who does not enter your home. This is not about being cold or distrustful, but rather about protecting what is most important to you. Your home is your temple, the place where you should feel safe and at peace. Allowing people who bring negativity or questionable intentions into that space is giving them control over something that only you should have. If you stop to reflect, you will notice that the people around you have a direct impact on your life. Some uplift you, inspire you, and help you grow. Others, however, seem to drain your energy, leaving you more tired and confused. And this is what we're talking about. When you carefully choose who can be part of your space, you are, in fact, choosing the kind of life you want to have. You are defining what you will or will not allow to influence your well-being. And from the moment you make this conscious decision, everything begins to change. You become more selective, stronger, more connected to who you really are. And believe me, the people around you will notice this. They will see that you are no longer easily influenced, that you value your peace above all else, and that to enter your life, one must bring something good. As you begin to make this change, I invite you to reflect even more on the influences you allow into your home, your life, and your heart. Subscribe to the channel for more content that will help you deepen this reflection and make decisions that will truly transform your life for the better. Be sure to follow the upcoming videos and continue on this journey of self-discovery and protection of what matters most. This is a journey worth taking, because in the end, your home, your life, and your well-being are precious assets that deserve to be protected. You deserve to live in peace, and that peace starts with the choices you make today, with the doors you decide to open, and more importantly, with those you decide to close. Throughout life, we are often taught that we should be hospitable, kind, and welcoming. And that's true. There's nothing wrong with being an open and generous person. However, what we aren't taught with the same emphasis is the need for discernment. Being kind does not mean opening the doors to anyone without careful consideration of the impact they may have on your life. You must remember that your home is the place where you recharge your energies, where you seek refuge from the pressures of the world. In this sense, those you allow in should contribute to preserving that peace, not destroying it. Have you ever noticed how some visits leave a trail of emotional disorder, even after they've gone? Sometimes, without realizing it, you end up absorbing the emotions and internal conflicts of those people. Someone may enter, smile, and seem harmless, but leave a load of negative energy that lingers in the air for days. And if this is not recognized and addressed, over time it can turn into a burden that affects your mental health, your mood, and even your relationships. This type of influence doesn't need to be loud or obvious. It can manifest in small, almost invisible ways. Suddenly you start having more arguments at home, feel more anxious or irritated without a clear cause. All of this may result from the presence of a person who, even unconsciously, brought with them a burden of negativity. And the more you ignore these signs, the more they accumulate until they become unbearable. From now on, you need to start observing more closely, not just who enters through the front door, but also who you allow to invade your emotional space. The people you share moments with, those in whom you confide secrets, or with whom you vent your frustrations. Not everyone deserves that level of intimacy. Often you only realize this after you've allowed that person's energy to take root within you. It's essential to develop a keen sense to perceive these influences before they become a bigger problem. One of the most effective ways to do this is through observation. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with certain people. Do you feel lighter, more inspired, more motivated? Or on the contrary, do you feel drained, low on energy, and burdened with an emotional weight that wasn't there before? This is a practical way to start identifying who truly deserves access to your innermost space. Remember that your home is an extension of you. It reflects who you are, your beliefs, your values. When you allow someone into that space, you are, in a way, allowing that person to influence who you are. If the influence is positive, it can bring growth, learning, and happiness. But if it's negative, it can drag you into a cycle of stress, anxiety, and even internal conflicts that you don't need to endure. And we're not just talking about physical visits. Nowadays, with the constant presence of social media and technology, we often allow people into our lives and minds without even opening the door to our home. How many times have you felt bad after seeing something online? A comment, a news story, or even the opinion of someone you follow? These small moments are also a way of opening the door to influences that can be harmful. You need to be as careful about what you consume digitally as you are with whom you allow to physically enter your space. Social media, for example, is a fertile ground for comparisons, negativity, and misinformation. And if you're not careful, you might end up allowing these elements to take root in your emotional state, affecting your self-esteem and even how you view the world. That's why it's important to do a kind of periodic cleaning, not just in your home, but also in your digital life and your personal interactions. Sometimes it's necessary to close doors that have been open for a long time. Some of those doors may be difficult to close. After all, we're talking about people with whom you may have a history, a connection, or even a long-standing friendship. But the fact is, if those people no longer bring good things to your life, if they are draining you, you have the right and the duty to close that door. The decision of who enters and who leaves your life is yours. And this is a powerful choice. When you understand that you don't need to keep all doors open, that you can be selective, and that you have the right to protect your space, you free yourself from many negative influences that you may not have even realized were there. At the same time, when you choose who to allow in, you create space for truly positive people aligned with your values to enter. It's like an energetic cleansing. By closing the doors to what no longer serves you, you pave the way for what will truly enhance your life. And that is liberating. So I invite you to reflect on who is in your circle today. Which of these people are truly contributing to your peace and happiness? And which are, quietly or not, stealing your energy, planting seeds of doubt, or creating a negative environment? Perhaps it's time to close some doors and, in doing so, open others that will genuinely lead you to a path of greater peace, harmony, and growth. If this makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel now and follow the upcoming videos. I will guide you through this process of self-discovery and discernment so you can build a lighter life surrounded by good influences. Don't miss the next content, where we will delve even deeper into this journey of protecting your space and your energies. And remember, you deserve to live in peace, surrounded by people who respect and value you. And this starts with the conscious choice of whom you will allow into your home, and more importantly, into your life. Throughout this process of self-discovery and protecting your space, you will notice that there are certain patterns in people that end up negatively influencing your life. These are subtle behaviors, sometimes disguised as kindness or concern, but that, deep down, are contaminated by selfishness, envy, or pure negativity. And it is precisely this type of person that you need to identify as soon as possible. You may have noticed this pattern before, but perhaps you didn't give it the attention it deserved. Who hasn't had a friend who seemed to care, but somehow always made comments that brought you down? Or that person who always shows up with a new problem, draining your energy and putting you in a position where you feel obliged to solve something that isn't even yours? These people don't necessarily enter your house in a physical sense, but they stealthily invade your emotional and psychological space. Each encounter, each conversation is a new opportunity for them to plant seeds of doubt, insecurity, or stress. If you're not vigilant, these small seeds begin to grow within you, affecting your self-esteem, your worldview, and even how you relate to others. And when these negative influences settle in, it's as if you're constantly carrying an invisible weight. Your decisions become more difficult, your mood fluctuates more frequently, and that sense of lightness and tranquility that you value so much starts to disappear. And all of this because you allowed someone into your space without realizing the real impact that person would have. Sometimes it can be difficult to recognize these patterns right away because many of these behaviors come disguised. The person seems friendly, even helpful, but gradually starts to take up more space in your life, and the relationship begins to feel unbalanced. You find yourself spending more time and energy meeting this person's demands than taking care of yourself. And this, in the long run, is unsustainable. This is where the importance of discernment comes in. Because we're not saying that you should isolate yourself from the world or completely close the doors to new relationships. On the contrary, what we're suggesting is that you learn to recognize the signs that someone is bringing more harm than good into your life. By doing this, you will be protecting yourself and preserving what is most precious, your inner peace. So how do you develop this discernment? First, you need to pay attention to how your interactions with people make you feel. After spending time with someone, do you feel rejuvenated, inspired with new ideas? Or on the contrary, do you feel drained, confused, or emotionally exhausted? This is a clear sign of how that person is influencing your emotional state. Another important point is to observe the type of conversations you have. Is the person always complaining, bringing negative news, or involving you in constant drama? Or do they offer constructive conversations, share positive insights, and support you genuinely? Words have power, and what is said repeatedly in a conversation has a direct impact on how you perceive life and the challenges you face. Of course, we all go through tough times and need to vent occasionally. But when this becomes the norm, when the person only knows how to bring the negative side of things, you need to start questioning the effect they are having on your life. And if necessary, it may be time to redefine the boundaries of that relationship. Setting clear boundaries is one of the most effective ways to protect your space. You have the right to decide how far people can go in your life. And this doesn't mean being rude or insensitive, but rather valuing your emotional and mental health. When you set healthy boundaries, you are actually teaching people to respect you. And those who truly care about you will understand and respect those boundaries. Those who don't, well, that may be a sign that those people don't deserve to be so close to you. And here's a truth that, although hard to accept, is necessary. Not everyone around you wants what's best for you. Often you will encounter people who, consciously or unconsciously, have an interest in seeing you fail or keeping you in an inferior position. They may not openly admit it, but behaviors and attitudes do not lie. People who in some way feel threatened by your growth or success may try to sabotage you in subtle ways. Sometimes it's through advice that seems well-intentioned, but deep down discourages you. Other times it's through comparisons or comments that undermine your confidence. That's exactly why you need to be vigilant, attentive to who is around you and the impact those people have on you. When you start recognizing these patterns, when you become aware of negative influences, a new path opens up for you. You gain the ability to make more conscious decisions about who remains in your life and who needs to be left behind. And this is not an easy decision, especially when we're talking about people with whom you have a long history. But ultimately, it's a decision that needs to be made to preserve your emotional health and the peace of your home. Your space, both physical and emotional, is sacred, and you have the right to protect it from influences that bring chaos, confusion, and disharmony. This doesn't mean you should avoid people going through difficult times, but rather that you should be selective about who can access your space continuously. After all, your home should be a place of peace, where you feel safe and in harmony. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where you felt someone was draining your energy, know that you're not alone. This is more common than you might think, and recognizing this pattern is the first step to freeing yourself. The next step is to take action, set boundaries, make conscious decisions, and, if necessary, distance yourself from people who do not contribute to your well-being. Don't be afraid to do this. You are protecting what is most important to you: your peace, your mental health, and the balance of your home. And from the moment you make this decision, you open space for new and better influences to enter your life. People who will support you, inspire you, and contribute to your growth. If this message has touched you in some way, if you feel you need more help to protect your space and better discern who should or should not be in your life, subscribe to the channel now. In the upcoming videos, we will explore this process of conscious selection in greater depth and how you can practically apply these strategies in your daily life. Don't miss out. This could be the beginning of a great transformation in your life, a transformation that will lead you to live with more lightness, peace, and purpose. And remember, you are the guardian of your space. Protect it with all the care it deserves, because it is in that space that you build your life and cultivate your inner peace. And as you continue this journey of protecting your space, know that the impact goes far beyond the physical environment. Protecting who enters your home is not just about emotional and spiritual safety. It is also a way of staying true to who you really are. Every person you allow into your life has the potential to influence your decisions, your behaviors, and ultimately, the direction you take. That's why you need to be selective. Because in the end, what's at stake is not just your momentary well-being, but the course of your entire journey. When you learn to care about who you let in, you also develop a greater sense of self-worth. From the moment you start seeing your home and your life as sacred spaces, you begin to realize that not everyone deserves the privilege of being so close to you. And this is not arrogance, it's self-awareness. Often people underestimate the power of influences. They think they can handle any kind of energy, any type of person, without it deeply affecting them. But the truth is, if you're not careful, these little negative influences can, over time, steer you off your path. That friend who always makes belittling comments, that person who is always complaining about life, that coworker who brings toxic gossip, these small factors can accumulate until, suddenly, you feel trapped in a web of negativity from which it is hard to escape. And the most dangerous part of this is that these negative influences don't reveal themselves all at once. They manifest slowly, almost like a leak. At first you don't notice. You might even think everything is under control. But over time you start to notice subtle changes in your behavior. You become more cynical, less enthusiastic about your dreams and goals. Life, which once seemed full of possibilities, now appears as an endless series of obstacles. And all of this happens because you allowed people with the wrong energies access to your world. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine surrounding your life with people who inspire you, who lift you up, who genuinely support you. Imagine the power that would have. Every conversation would be a source of motivation. Every interaction, an opportunity for growth. The energy in your home would be one of peace, joy, and purpose. And the impact of this would be reflected in all areas of your life, in your work, in your relationships, and even in your health. You have the power to create this reality. And the first step is to start consciously choosing who you will allow into your home, your inner circle, and your life. This choice is yours, and it is one of the most important decisions you can make. When you start applying this discernment, your life changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the creator of your reality. You begin to realize that you have more control over your destiny than you imagined. And with that comes a new sense of empowerment. You understand that you do not have to accept any influence that comes into your life. You can and should choose wisely. And this wisdom starts with observation. Begin to pay attention to the details. Who are the people around you? How do they make you feel? What are the themes of the conversations you have? Do they help you grow or keep you stuck in a limited mindset? These are questions you need to ask yourself regularly, because the answers will guide you in creating a more harmonious and fulfilling life. From the moment you ask these questions and act based on the answers, something incredible happens. You start attracting people who are in tune with your energy, your values, and your vision for life. At the same time, people who are not aligned with this start to drift away naturally. This doesn't mean you need to cut ties abruptly or dramatically. Sometimes, a simple change in behavior and the establishment of clear boundaries are enough for negative relationships to begin losing strength. This change, although subtle, is extremely powerful. When you define who can enter your space, you also define who you are and what you value. You begin to attract more of what you want and repel what you don't want. And this is a process that only strengthens over time. Remember that your space is sacred. Your home is the place where you seek refuge, where you recharge your energies, where you build your dreams. Allowing just anyone, with any type of energy, to enter that space carelessly is a risk you don't need to take. Discernment, conscious choice, is what will ensure that you stay on the right path, surrounded by influences that truly help you grow and flourish. So now that you understand the importance of protecting your space, the question remains: who will you allow into your life starting today? Which people truly deserve to be around you? And which ones, while part of your history, no longer have a place in your future? If these reflections have helped you better understand the power of influences in your life, I invite you to subscribe to the channel now and continue following our upcoming videos. Together we will explore even more ways to protect your space, develop discernment, and create a life surrounded by positivity and purpose. Because you deserve to live surrounded by people who inspire you and contribute to your peace. And remember, you are the guardian of your space. The decision of who enters and who leaves your life is yours, and it defines not only your present, but also your future.